Dr. VOIP here with a lesson on configuring LEX for AWS Connect. So in this tutorial, we will actually configure a LEX bot and integrate it into the auto attendant call tree that we configured in a previous video. That is the interface to the AWS Connect call center that we've been working on together here. So what is LEX? I'm sure you've all had the experience of working Siri or Alexa in the AWS world. And LEX uses the same technology. LEX is basically a natural language interface. It's typically used in a speech recognition mode, but it can do text chat as well. You can configure LEX as a chat bot, and it can interface to things like Facebook Messenger or whatever your favorite chat engine is. In this example, however, we're going to focus exclusively on speech recognition and how this integrates with Connect. You should understand it's a natural language interface, and it's got some AI components. By that, I mean it will continue to learn. You'll see when we configure things how we add in intents and utterances, but you should be aware that LEX will begin to build its own library of utterances, if you will, that will help it understand intents not committed in your configuration. You'll see in a minute. It's a pay-as-you-go model. Now, in most speech recognition applications that I've worked on, typically a company like Nuance, which dominates that industry, will charge a per port or per connection license fee. So it gets very expensive. You have a call center with a minimum of 1 T-span. You're talking about quite a number of simultaneous connections, which under a license model you would be paying for. In the case of LEX, it's pay as you go, pay as you use, no license fee required. Above all, it's simple to configure, deploy, and manage. So we're going to create a LEX bot, and it's going to replace the DTMF front end of the call tree that we configured in a previous video. So we'll log in, we'll create an intent, we'll create an utterance, we'll note the ID and alias of the LEX bot, as we'll need that when we go to integrate it into Connect. And we'll configure the get input capability, we'll revise our call flow, we'll test and turn up. I would point out that as often as the case in AWS, things change very quickly. So what is true at the time of this video may be not true or have changed in the future. For example, when I first started playing with LEX, you had to configure LEX as a separate interface to your call tree. So if you wanted a DTMF interface, press 1 for this and 2 for that. You would write one contact flow. If you wanted to enable a LEX bot, a natural language interface, you would configure a second interface. Today, as of May 2018, you can now use a single interface and you can speak to it or a DTMF to it. And so that's something new. Additionally, LEX is now available in the Oregon region. AWS typically starts things in the Virginia region and then it rolls it out across all of its regions. So this is where we are in 2018. This is July 2018 when this video is being made. So let's log in, take a look at LEX and see how it integrates with the AWS Connect call. Okay, by way of review, before we start playing with LEX, let us go ahead and review the current call flow. So after we check for hours, the call is sent to this contact flow step. And here we do something very standard. set the call recording behavior, and then we prompt the customer to input based on a recording, right? The recording says press 1 for sales, press 2 for customer service, 3 for technical support. And we've indicated that it's going to be text to speech, and we're going to use DTMF. So we're going to want to modify this so that this get customer input can make use of LEX. Typically what I'll do is I'll save this call flow. We don't want to destroy it. We'll save this as something different. And this way we can work on it without impacting production. We have a fallback should we have problems with LEX. And we can actually create 2 separate interfaces if you want to assign a telephone number that comes into a DTMF call tree and a separate phone number that comes into a speech recognition call tree. This is one way to do it. So now that we understand what we're going to do, let's go back to AWS services, scroll down here to machine learning, and click on LEX. Now, we can create a new LEX bot, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on LEX bot builds, as this is not a tutorial on LEX, it's a tutorial on adding LEX to the Connect instance. But when you create it, you're going to have the opportunity to use a template, if you will. So there's a schedule an appointment, order flowers, book trip. We're not going to do that. We're going to start from scratch and build a custom bot. And the first thing it's going to do is ask you to name this and choose an output voice. We'll say Matthew.
Hello, my name is Matthew.
You can type expression in here if you want to test the Matthew voice. You can also change it. We're going to set it for, let's say, 5 minutes of timeout. And we'll indicate that this is not used in a kitty type application. And at that point, we'll go ahead and create this bot. Now, what you need to know is that if you create several bots in your portal, the intents are global. Let me explain. So we're going to create an intent, and we're going to create some utterances. Now, an intent is just that. What is it that you expect to happen with this particular intent? So in our example, we're going to prompt the caller to say sales, customer service, or tech support. Very simple selection process, but they're going to be able to speak this. So an intent would be, I want to talk to sales. So if you create the intent, what you need to know is they appear to be global. So if I say sales, and I try to add that, I have another bot that already has an intent named sales. So it's telling me here I can't use that. All right. So what we want to do then is to create. And let's go ahead and just call this ask for sales. So since I already have some intents established, I can't use those same expressions again. But in the interest of having you understand how this is configured, you're going to create an intent. And an intent might be check ticket status. And we'll go ahead and add that. So that's an intent. It says exactly what is the intent of this particular interface. And in this case, we'll add some utterances. An utterance is what will someone say that should trigger this intent. So they might say, so they call in, they say, I have an existing ticket. LEX hears that and knows that you're trying to check your ticket status, okay? What is the status ticket? And you will go ahead and add utterances. The more you add, the better. But understand that as LEX is used and processes more and more phone calls, in this example, it's going to learn. I don't know if saying it's going to learn utterances is proper, but basically that's what's going to happen. It's going to begin to develop an understanding of utterances that you may not have listed here. So you're going to create an intent in our existing application. They're going to press 1 for sales, 2 for support, that can check ticket status, and these are intents. Now, one LEX can be used by multiple instances. One text LEX Bot can support multiple contact flows. So once we have this set up, in the case of the call center application, we're not going to be doing things like fulfillment or confirmation prompts or any of the things that you would be doing if this were a chat bot. Once you have your bot basically configured, you're going to build it. You need to build it before you can test it. And when I say test, I'm not talking about integrating it into the call center and firing off some phone calls. I'm talking about being able to use this test chat box feature over here. So you build it, you test it, and then you publish it. Once it's published, you can then point to it from your call center instance. So we'll give this build a second here. Okay, so the instance has been built successfully, and now we're ready to test it. So you click on the little test your chat box thing here, and you can say, let's put it in sales. And it says, okay, the intent for this utterance is ask for sales. Or we can say, I have a ticket. And so the intent here is ask for ticket status. So we can see that basically the bot understands utterances based on the intents and the utterance definitions we assigned to those intents. So let's go ahead and publish this now. And once it's published, we'll add it to Connect. You will note that there is a request for an alias. You'll have to remember both the name of the bot and the alias that you've assigned here when we add it to Connect. So let's go ahead and publish it. And it has been successfully published. So after you've created your LEX, tested it, and published it, you're going to want to go to the AWS Connect portal, find your instance. Over here under contact flows, you're going to say, I want to add a LEX Bot. And you'll hit this, and you'll be able to see your various LEX bots. I've already selected the main greeting call tree, which is the bot that we previously configured. Once you do that, you can then go to your contact flows and you'll find the Get Customer Input. Now, this is pretty easy to configure, but the interface here is a real pain in the neck, and I wish they'd fix it. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Here we're using text-to-speech, and as you can see, we've got the text that we have entered that we expect to be converted to speech. And we have indicated that we're going to use a DTMF. Now, we want to change that. And what I have found is that if this box is too big, you can't get down to the rest of the interface to finish your configuration. So you got to mess around with it. It's really ugly. But having said that, let us go here. And down here, we want to select Amazon LEX. We're not going to use DTMF, we're going to use LEX. Now, the big challenge now is to get down to the configuration. So what I normally do here is tab. Okay, so we've tabbed down here. We're going to put in our name of the and the LS. And these have to be correct. They have to be spelled correctly. But you're going to name the bot and give it the alias that you assigned when you published it. Go ahead, tab here. We're not adding any attributes, but we are adding intents. So let's go ahead and so the first one was ask for sales. And let's go ahead and double check that, by the way. So ask for sales, ask for support, ask for sales, ask for support, ask for ticket status. So let's ask for sales, add another parameter. Oh, by the way, it was a capital. And all right, so we've got the basics in there. And at this point, if you look at your collect customer input, you'll see that the digits have now been replaced with the intents as described in your bot. So what we're going to do here now is go ahead and get these wired up the way they were before. So we're going to come off here. And we're going to take support and put it here. And we're going to ticket status and in a future video, the ask for ticket status, we're going to use that to show you Lambda functions. But at the moment, what's going to happen is when they call in, they're going to be able to speak sales. And at that point, they'll hear a prompt that says, okay, thanks for calling, and we'll get you over to the sales department. That's basically it. That's basically all it's going to take to get LEX into your call center. Okay, before we test this puppy out, there's two other little things we want to do. One, we want to change the greeting, right? This says press 1 for sales. So we've got some new capabilities now. We're going to want to change this announcement. We'll say, thanks for calling. please say, or press 1 for sales. 2, say, or press 2 for customer service, and say 3 for technical support. All right, so we need to do that. The other thing we need to do is to publish. First of all, let's see what we've saved as. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And then the next thing we need to do is make it part of the call flow. So if we go back here to contact flows, we have to change. Initially, we come in here and we check whether it's open or closed based on the published hours. And then we send it off to the main greeting. Currently, it's sending it to this main greeting. We want to send it now to the main greeting that has the LEX Bot. So we're going to go in here. And down here where it says transfer to main greeting, we're going to want to change that to change this to main greeting with LEX. All right. And now that we have that done, we can go ahead, save and publish this. And that'll put us in a mode of testing. Okay, I'm logged in as an agent. Here's my agent soft phone. And let's go ahead and call into the existing application here.
Thank you for calling during our normal business hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can say sales or just say 1 to talk with someone on our sales team. You can say customer service or 2 or for technical support on any of our products and services. Please say technical support or 3. Optionally, you can stay on the line to speak with the next available consultant.
Sales.
Okay, please hold while I get you connected to someone on the sales team. Please note the average wait time is less than 3 minutes. Press 1 to continue to hold for the next available technician. Or press 2 in order to Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received. Sales.
Okay,
so you can see
that LEX is in fact working as a front-end natural language interface to the Connect. I hope you have found this informative, and I thank you for watching.